And the 2 litres, Sytner and Cleland leading. Now, looking back from Sytner's leading car, and that's Cleland's Vauxhall, falling back a bit. And behind him is David Leslie's BMW. Here they come. So it's Sytner, Cleland, Leslie, Sugden. Jeff Allam is still there. Going round Surtees. First, second, third, fourth, fifth in the 2 litre class into Clearways. And that's John Cleland locking up, the right front locking up as he comes out of Clearways and down the straight. Something's amiss, something's wrong, because past goes Tim Sugden, past goes Jeff Allam. John Cleland is in trouble, he's out of the race. And that is Chris Hodgetts handing over to Bob Berridge in the other Vauxhall Cavalier. Getting the safety belts right. Absolutely vital. Pull them up tight. Shut the door. Berridge drives out. Now, Chris Hodgetts was due to take over from John Cleland. He's obviously heard he's out. He shakes his head. He's very unhappy. And there's the reason. John Cleland touring in. And that's Andy Rouse going past him. 12th position. And Leslie is up into the lead in the 2 litre class, past Frank Sytner, with Tim Sugden right up with Sytner. Allam right up with Sugden, looking back from Sytner's car. There is Sugden, right behind him is Allam, and into the pits comes John Cleland. He's pointing at the left front of the car. Chris Hodgetts has a talk with him. And Slim Borgard has been in and handed over to Tim Harvey. They've taken on new tyres. Rob Gravitt is leading, Sean Walker is second, Graham Good is third, Tim Harvey, number 3 there in the Blue Sierra, is in 4th position. And there are Cleland's mechanics looking for the problem.
But Frank's so slow through some of the corners, it's unbelievable. I mean, through the fast corners, it's ridiculous.
And there is Frank Sytner's BMW, and Frank said the Vauxhalls were slow at Silverstone. Well, it's Kurt Luby driving now, and Frank has a quiet think about things. His stint is over. Yes, second, but will he stay there? And Andy Rouse is charging the third of these cars. He's up with Ian Flux and Dave Brodie. There he is, taking Dave Brodie, who has taken over from Graham Good. So Andy Rouse unlaps himself there. He's a lap behind, don't forget, after his pit stop. Now coming up to Ian Flux, who's taken over from Sean Walker. But Andy is effectively out of the race. There is no way he's going to gain a whole lap on Rob Gravitt. So there is Ian Flux, still a whole lap ahead of Andy Rouse, but not for much longer, I suspect. Andy starting to close on the Ford Sierra Cosworth in front of him. Ian Flux comes out of Clearways into the Jack Brabham Straight to complete another lap. And Rob Gravitt there is very much in control. The top team of 1990 in the top class, and Kelvin Burt joins. He's taken over from Tim Sugden. Out of the pit lane, number 56, and he is taken by his teammate Kurt Luby. Looking back from Luby's car, which was Frank Sytner's, nearly 300 horsepower each of them, and they're both well up in the 2 litre class. Andy Rouse back into the pits and out of the car. Now it's bad enough for Andy, but his co-driver Gary Ailes interrupted his honeymoon for this, and he hasn't even got in the car. But there's TV star Mike Smith waiting to take over from race leader Rob Gravitt. Gravitt going through, starting another lap, so Mike is in plenty of time. Rob round paddock. He's getting ready to come in. He's disconnected his radio lead to the helmet. Out of Druids, down to Graham Hill Bend. He's got a very good lead, Rob Gravitt. He can afford to take it easy and make sure of a good handover to Mike Smith. Loosening his shoulder straps, all very calm and deliberate. Out of Surtees, into Clearways. Slowing down, ready to go into the pit lane. And he's into the pit lane. He's in it now. Looking for his mechanics. There are the track star men. Now, watch this handover. Door open. Gravett out. The mechanics have got the shoulder straps held for Mike Smith. That's a good move. Mike Smith in. They are not changing the tyres, I noticed. That saves time. 12 seconds was all it took for Gravett to get out, Mike Smith to get in. Mike does up his shoulder straps before he even leaves the pit lane. Onto the track. And Rob Gravett, job well done. Helmet off. Is this going to be his 5th consecutive win? And Dave Brodie in the Black Sierra is in trouble. He's passed by Jeff Allen. And there is Flux. Ian Flux goes through in the Ford Sierra Cosworth. Passes Dave Brodie. So Flux has gone up a place, and a worried Graham Good, that's Dave Brodie's co-driver, goes over to the pit wall, and Tim Harvey is in 2nd place. He was 2nd in Thruxton, he was 3rd at Alton Park, he was 3rd at Silverstone. It looks as though he is on course for 2nd place today. He's using a new tyre construction, and it certainly seems to be paying off, and he is pushing, watched by his teammate Lawrence Bristow. So Harvey round paddock, up Hailwood Hill again, past the BMW. He hasn't got very far to go now. There is the stricken Dave Brodie ahead of him. Tim Harvey goes through. And there is Ian Flux, Sean Walker's co-driver, crossing the line. His race is almost completed too. Into paddock again, and there's a spin. And it's Per Gun Andersson, the Swedish driver, in front of Bob Berridge. And I notice he's not letting Berridge get out onto the track before him. Bob Berridge in the Vauxhall. So it's a bad day for Vauxhall. Cleland is out. Berridge badly balked. And there's Cleland talking over his problems with a contemplative Chris Hodgetts there as well. Out goes the pit board. Sarah Green, Mike Smith's wife, with the stopwatch. And Mike Smith on his way for his first victory in 1990 after a thoroughly grotty year in which his Trackstar team lost its sponsorship. But it's proved its worth with 4 wins out of 6 already. And it's looking good for Tim Harvey, number 3. Look at the way he's lapping those men. He is in 2nd place in his Blue Sierra. He's well on his way now. Laps Anderson and Jimmy McRae. Up to Druids. And Mike Smith laps Graham Scarborough in the Mitsubishi. Oh dear, shaking the fist. He's not at all happy. Up to Tony Bridge now. Into paddock. That's the BMW in front of him. Mike Smith's got to get past that one. Oh, dear me, get out of the way, says Mike Smith. Bridge has done so. Scarborough's gone through as well. And Rob Gravett checking. Maybe he remembers Donington when his co-driver Stig Blomqvist spun away the lead at the end. But not this time. Mike Smith keeps it on the island to make it win number 5 in 1990 for Trackstar. 2nd, Tim Harvey and Slim Ballgood. 3rd, Sean Walker and Ian Flux. And Mike Smith wins. Kelvin Burt, there he is, finishes 5th overall. Kurt Luby wins the class with Frank Sittner and finishes a fine 4th overall.
No stopping the Trackstar team these days. 5 victories in a row. The Yokohama tyres, the envy of the rest of the field. And Mike Smith was a happy man.
I mean, everybody else's tyres would drop into bits except ours. Like there was lumps coming off everybody's tyres. And it just all held together. I love it. 5 in a row. Yo!
But after the celebrations for Gravett, Smith and Sittner, the consternation of their cars being disqualified for running oversized fuel tanks. 5 days later, the disqualification was overturned. Gravett remained